Okay, everybody, welcome to MAPness. I honestly can't believe that we're really doing this, but people have been asking for a long time to see maps like Haunted Mines, Blackheart Bay, and other maps in the pool again. And obviously these maps have long been removed from any competitive map pool just simply because they're not good for competitive play. They have several problems and they're just not a thing these days anymore. But what we have right now is we created a tournament format where we only have 5 maps in the map pool for this tournament. Haunted Mines, Blackheart's Bay, Hanamura. We have Braxis, which is the most normal one, but we needed a 5th. And I'm blanking on one. Ah, yeah, Forehead. So Forehead is also another one. And so, yeah, this is a small tournament. We have 8 teams that have signed up for this. It's the double elimination system. There's 900 euros on the line, and this is also a safe odds tournament. I talked about this in the past. But again, if you want to support tournaments like this, if you want to help to create more like it, if you're watching this on YouTube, check out the link in the description. There's a link to the Patreon. And I announced already quite some time ago that anything that goes over a certain threshold will be used to create tournaments and to just make things like exactly this here happen. We've been pretty busy this year, so I couldn't do as much as I wanted there, but this is now one of the tournaments that I've been talking about, and there's of course more to come. But this is going to be the first one. This is the best of 3 series, so we're currently in the winner bracket. We're starting things off with the best of 3. Later on, we're moving into best of 5s. The normal drafting with heroes, there's nothing else happening here. So this is not a full meta madness where you have also certain restrictions on heroes that you can play or not. That will come later. But right now, it's all about the maps and just seeing Haunted Mines again. And to make sure that we are also seeing all of the maps, another thing that we did is that we told the players that certain maps are mandatory as the starting maps. So in the first round, for example, Haunted Mines is the starting map, and then afterwards players can pick and choose as they would normally be able to do. But we are switching that up a bit so that later on we're going to get to see Blackheart's Bay. So no matter what happens, all of the maps at some point will rotate in and rotate out. But it should be fairly interesting. It shakes things up a little bit. I honestly have no idea what to expect here. It's going to be a bit wild, I think. One of the reasons why Blackheart's Bay back in the day was moved out of the pool was that a lot of players realized that they don't actually have to ever fight, that you could just out-rotate your opponent 6 days to Sunday. So, yeah, we'll see how it goes. But as it stands, we now got Diablo and Brightwing. We have Disgusting going up against the Cats. There are some teams that have mixed their lineups a little bit. We have a few mixed teams in the tournament now too. This is obviously all heading to Christmas, and there's already some players that just have Christmas obligations that couldn't play with a normal team. So teams combined and did other stuff. So yeah, this is just what it is. But right now we got Soaking on Hogger for a bit of, well, side laning. It's Haunted Mines, so you know, we'll see. We also are going to see who's going to enter the mines and going to play around with that. Obviously, it has been announced quite some time ago, so, I mean, players could mentally prepare themselves. I don't think anybody actually scrimmed a lot on the maps. But I don't know, so they might have scrimmed a bit. The last tournament that we had was the Skyline Cup, which showed us, of course, the Korean, the Chinese, and the Taiwanese meta. A bit more up close, and it was super interesting too what they did there. But now we got with Brightwing, Genji already a couple of combos that they could use here. And Brightwing can also be pretty helpful if you have Brightwing up at the top and then you need someone to go down in the mines. It can definitely help out there too. Will be interesting if throughout the tournament there's certain strategies that evolve on some of the maps. I would expect that especially in the first round there's still a lot of experimenting going on, and since the maps got rotated out of the competitive map pool, there's obviously a lot more heroes that get introduced in then, so some of those things might be pretty interesting. We got Jaina, we also got Urel. Currently have Greymane in the final pick now for the red team as the Cats are locking their final slot in. And well, let's see what's it gonna be. What are we getting right now? Drek here, the one to choose, and they need a little bit more damage. And it is Gul'dan. Alright, so we got a mage on each side. Jaina against Gul'dan. Guys, that's it. Game number 1 in the best of 3 series here at MAPness. Let's go. Well, here we are. We are on Haunted Mines. It's been a while. The longest game that I ever casted was on this map. It was more than an hour long, I think, in total, with 60 or 70 kills. Actually, We might have gone over 100 kills in that game. I can't remember. It was ages ago. It's still on my YouTube somewhere. But we have on the left side Lavakal with Brightwing, Mimikyu on Diablo, Itrax is playing Genji, Alvarez on Jaina, and Arkunis is playing Urel. Whereas on the right side, we got the Dracula on Gul'dan for the Cats with Fish on Johanna, Captain Rex on Stukov. Hogga is played by Soaking, and Ireth is playing Greymane. So, let's go. We got a Fell build here with the Pursuit of Flame on level 1 for Gul'dan. Currently, Hogga is holding the top lane against Arkunis. But yeah, just being on that map again is so crazy. Honestly, I have flashbacks to the Alpha and Beta in Heroes of the Storm. Back in those days, you would always play Kerrigan Arthurs. Both of them had Envenom, and you could nuke heroes very, very quickly. Those were the golden days when you could still copy also ults with Abathur, so you would go for double Tychus, double Odin, you would have double Tacita and all those good things with Bloodlust usually. Brightwing goes down, so the Fruit Fly gets eliminated right from the get-go. That's the first one to fall. Top side, Soaking still doing his thing. Jaina on level 1 with the Fingers of Frost. Yeah, cold to the touch here. And for our boy Stukov, we got the Fetid Touch as well. Camps are obviously at this point up. We got a siege camp here, a couple of pumpkins already in play now that we're heading into the Christmas season. I'm actually going for a little vacation next week as well. I'm going to visit friends and family in Germany and also check out some of the Christmas markets. That's the one thing about Spain. Spain sucks when it comes to Christmas, or at least Valencia does. I think if you're going a bit farther north, if you go to Madrid or somewhere else, they might do Christmas a little bit better. But here in Valencia, Christmas is a total shit show. It's just pretty much non-existent. They definitely don't do that right. They have other events to make up for it. Fires in March comes to mind, of course. But so it's kind of nice, you know, to get out a little bit. Even though I'm not really looking forward to the temperatures and the weather. But either way, we're slowly getting to level 4 in the next talent, but it seems like Gul'dan done goofed here. Yeah, he's in a bit of trouble, but they're turning it against the blue team, and all of a sudden it's Brightwing that's against in trouble. Gul'dan is not out. Oh, ooh, he's gonna die, isn't he? Brightwing is dead first. Gul'dan is also getting dropped, but so is Urel, so it's a 2-for-1 and 3-for-1. Ah, Genji dead, Greymane ripping them apart, and with the body blocking on Diablo, Mimikyu is going to fall too. There it is, 5 kills to 1. Same time now, we have already mines opening up, but a bit of vision is being snuck in by Fish as well. And top side, we see some pressure being applied by the minion waves that Hogga just escorted through. And what they're already trying to do here, as you can see, they're trying to time the siege giants with the mines. So as they can jump down into the mines, get those siege giants onto the lane so that your opponent is a little bit delayed. You want to get those skulls for the strong golem. And we got the health funnel now on level 4. Level 7 will kick in next, but right now it's all about the skulls. And nobody has entered the mines yet. Now we have seen in the past a couple of games where actually nobody really cared about the mines and nobody went down, they just continued to push lanes. That was also one of the reasons why the map started to become a bit less attractive. But at least Hogga is now making a move and is starting to go straight for it. So yeah, Hogga is already in, spinning around. And he's actually a really good choice for this. The latest addition to the Heroes of the Storm hero pool. And he can easily go for the spin to win and get some of these skulls connected. But it's currently Urel who has taken the lead. Hogga instead jumped up to the top and starts to push another wave out, which is going to get them closer to level 7 on top of that too. And even Diablo just moved in onto the mines for just a second. So yeah, Kunis is already here. But the red team isn't too eager. They're not really looking for anything just yet. And at the end of the day, this is also the first objective. But look at that, Urel coming in. They came from behind. She jumps in and they're trying to get the fight here. Genji and Hogga on their way, a 4 versus 4 over the pumpkin camp. Oh boy, the blue team again in trouble. They have to give the camp up and they're moving back out. But now we're having Greymane in particular trying to get some extra hits in for maybe another kill. He's unable to pull that one off, but things are so far looking pretty alright for the red team, I'd say. Blue team is a bit ahead on skulls, but what is that going to do for you at the end of the day? Right now it seems that's going to be very little. So Itrax, he's still defending with the rest of the team, but the pumpkins have been escorted through. The missing level 7 talent was a problem as well. Urel is already in the mines, and guess what? The big bad wolf is also moving in and is starting to go to the top, just moving through those entrances again, as the top lane is now being attacked. So the red team is still doing this. They're not going into the mines, they're just staying at the top. They only moved Hogger down once to get 10 skulls. Besides that, they have been pushing the lanes, and they're trying to do that again, but this time Greymane stepped out a bit too far, and he is dead, but the quest, at least for Gul'dan, completed. And Urel back at it, and now it's the entire blue team that jumped into the mines in order to maybe even get the big one over here. At least Genji is looking at him for a second, decides against it. Alvaros looks like we're going to see a kill against Soaking, and yes, Hogger indeed falls. But yeah, the structures are all a bit low. Now, as I said before, the good news for the blue team is that they are way ahead when it comes to the thingies, the skulls here. The question is then always, can they use that in order to just push this properly through the lane and get some value? Because they've given up quite a bit of control by jumping down into the mines over and over again. And you can see it right here in front of us as the red team is again not giving a fuck about what's happening down there and instead just take a fort down. So you definitely got to do something in order to make up for the losses. Now, they have the skulls, and we're gonna see that golem appear sooner rather than later, but the moment of truth is definitely nearing. What can they do with this thing? That's the big one. And this is the first objective. Later in the game, they are scaling, of course, and it's gonna be a bit more impactful, and I guess at that point, the cats are most likely also gonna be a bit more eager to go into the mines and really fight for this. But at least in the earlier stages, we'll see what can be done here. In an ideal world, you really want to push together with the golem, at least for now, so the blue team is already starting to do exactly that. Genji is poking them out a bit. It's all about the level 10 abilities now too. They're super close for both of the teams, but the red team is going to take a small advantage. So we have them with heroics, and in this case we get the Horrify again, also the Shockwave. But the blue team is not far behind, so they can do some damage down here. The question is always, can they take that fort? Because that's pretty much what they gotta do in order to draw even with the opponent, with the cats. Both teams are at level 10. The APOC, no, not like this. That did little to nothing, and now it's Diablo's on the chopping block. He goes down. And I guess this fort is not gonna fall. Oh, Jojo stunned by the golem, and they might just be able to capitalize on this with another kill. They get it against Stukov. Brightwing with a save on Genji, and the fort indeed has been destroyed. The battle isn't quite over yet. Seems like Drak here still has hopes of getting a kill, and with Soaking rotating in, they were attempting to make that work. Didn't quite pan out for them. But it's definitely interesting, and look at this also. A little bit of a move here by Itrax, escapes into the mines now. We have 5 kills to 6. And I gotta say, it's a pretty interesting first game. It's a pretty cool first one that we see between the teams right now. Very close, at least up to now. Still a bit of an advantage, structurally speaking, for the cats, of course. But let's see what else they can now pull off here. Because in experience, yeah, the cats are still a little bit ahead, but it's not a whole lot. Next objective should be interesting, and now that the pumpkins are taken again. Diablo, careful, only 31 souls, that's not a whole lot. Here comes the fight again. Oh, the X-Strike saving Genji for just a moment, but the Shockwave was absolutely on point with Brightwing helping out. Genji still survives though. And now they're still chasing, hoping to get a kill against the red team, which doesn't quite come together for them. But here's the APOC, and there it is, the kill against Gul'dan. And the battle is not over by any means. They're looking for a follow-up, but they haven't really been able to pull that off yet. The one thing that I still have to highlight a bit, though, is that we have Jaina, played by Alvaros, already about to complete her baseline quest. And that's huge, of course. No, it's not only the baseline, it's also the level 1. But once that's done, it means that you have a lot more survivability because of the ice block that you can employ whenever there's a big collapse onto you. So that's definitely going to play a role. Mines are going to be reset in another couple of seconds, so we're going to get the skulls back to business, and then we'll see if Disgusting is now willing to fight for this a bit more. Already, we have, with decent timing, Urel doing exactly what she did before, jumping in again, easy peasy, grabs those right away. And look at this. The entire blue team has now collapsed into the mines again in order to get a head start, whereas the red team, not making any moves here. They're just sitting tight. They're just saying, we're going to go for structures again. We're going to ignore the objective, and we're going to leave that up to you. Now, Disgusting has only gotten 28 skulls so far, but they really want to fight here. The bullet, on the other hand, from Greymane, really putting Diablo in a pickle, but they're turning it with a very nice move. There's no Hogger here, so it's a 5 versus 4, and they easily get a couple of kills together as they are coming through, dropping 3 heroes, the Shockwave missing as well, and now they are back down in the mines, making their play. But that was a really, really cool kill setup from them. They created a situation in which they had the superior numbers, and then they capitalized on it ruthlessly. Now we have 9 kills to 6 in total, and an entire level lead for Disgusting. And they're already playing this out here with 56 skulls to their name. So they've already crossed over from the 50%, and they're trying to go for the boss again. And this time, the red team is actually trying to make a bit of a play here. So they are moving into the middle now. Yeah, and now all of a sudden they're interested to fight for this. And I guess they're going to get this one. But it's 76 skulls against 16 now. Back in the day, there was also a bit of a strategy. If you're the team that has less skulls, you would always leave 1 skull behind. You would, yeah, exactly the way that they're doing. Ah, no, they actually took it. So they are spawning the golem. But there was a play back then where you would leave 1 skull behind and you would, like, wait that out a little bit more to time it properly. For now, we have the golem appearing again. And the blue team is, of course, now hoping to move through the top lane and take the opponent's fort down. Brightwing still sitting at the bottom of the map together with Genji in an attempt to take that golem down as quickly as they can. Or at least soften it up a little bit. Hogger also locked into a battle with Genji, at least for a few seconds. But here comes the push. This is going to be the most interesting one, especially since the blue team is closing in on level 16. So if they can get the talent together with this push, they definitely have a good chance of also locking a few kills in. 26,000 damage for Jaina compared to the 36k that Greymane brings to the table. Definitely trailing behind a little bit. Urel defending at the bottom of the map against the small golem of the red team. But this bad boy at the top, especially with the Siege Giant support, is currently doing work. Horrify used, but they can't get the kill. Brightwing is now moving in too to help Diablo out. And this could still hurt. I mean, Gul'dan is already dead, and this really spells disaster for the cats. The cats are in a really tricky position now because they are starting to lose ground around their keep, and even Greymane is now low. And that golem is going to do some damage to the keep itself, whereas down here, Urel has already defeated the red team's golem without a problem whatsoever. But here comes the push, here comes the move, they're trying for the play. Gul'dan still down, and level 16 talents are giving the blue team an additional boost. Here comes the APOC, and that could be another kill, but the Iron Skin comes out. The keep will fall though. Keep is gone, and that means Disgusting takes the lead in structures pretty significantly. Not just by a fort, but also dropping the keep itself. So very, very nicely done. But as it stands, this is of course not over yet. But to just recap this a little bit, so far the team with the objective has done a little bit better here, so ignoring it hasn't quite helped the cats. With the first objective, I guess you can pull it off for reasons pointed out earlier, but once that we're heading into the second and the third, you're probably well advised to fight for it. Or at least push a lot harder than they did while the opponent is busy in the mines itself. Now, we've also seen Genji try and move around through the mines a bit, and the same is now true on the minimap, as you can tell. So he's going to try and come in from behind, so he's sneaking up on them already, and he could be the one going for Dracula at the top. Vision has already been claimed by him, so he knows exactly what's up here. Stukov is dead, Genji is fighting this one out, they're also chasing Greymane at the same time, and if they can come in here and lock some CC on either Gul'dan or on Jojo, that might be another kill. The first one to fall is Gul'dan, and now they're moving in for another one. The main tank, oh, nicely stunned into the blizzard. And with Genji coming in for the finishing touch, we have 3 kills in total in this little encounter for the blue team. And of course, we have the skulls or the skeletons spawning once again. But yep, right now 13-6 and a 2-level lead. Pretty well done by the blue team. Gotta say, they are doing really well here. Maybe some secret training. Maybe some of the teams have actually scrimmed for the tournament and have tried to see what they can do with the maps. I can't honestly wait to see Blackheart's play later. It's going to be absolutely fantastic. Oh, God. Haunted Mines. Yeah, and this time Hawkeye is on it. So this time Hawkeye is right here and he's just like, alright boys, I'm gonna get a few. Ah, you missed one, bro. So yeah, not as diligent as he maybe should be. Genji is getting chased at the top, has to X-Strike out, and Brightwing was helping out. Hit by the Horrify, but not really a good angle for them. That's not really a threat for our ninja. And instead we already have 44, I was about to say gems, skulls for Disgusting. Yeah, Disgusting is getting the 52, so they are already a bit ahead on the objective. And they are now moving down to the middle of the mines again to take the bad boy down here. But they are being contested on this one. So Genji is just sitting at the side, everybody is still playing this one out. And at least the cats this time are trying to make sure that they are gonna have 48 of those gems, or at least that's what we're hoping for. But with Genji now moving into the final camp at the top right, it's not quite going to work out for them. Close enough. But he doesn't want to get caught there either, so it's a fairly even golem at this point. But yeah. 19.5, that's a big story. Once you hit level 20, that's of course a huge advantage. The golem spawning at the bottom of the map this time for the blue team. They have a slight advantage on this one. But you always have to then try and figure out, okay, do we defend, do we attack? How are the lanes looking for us? And currently they are the ones that have a lot of pressure through the top side. If they can prevent the golem from taking down the fort, that would be ideal, because the catapult pressure mounts up as the game continues. And we're already 17 minutes in. Now it's a bit doubtful that they can take this one down this quickly. I mean, Hoga is pushing there too, but this fort doesn't have a lot of hit points left, so I don't think that we're going to see them take it down before the fort is destroyed. At the bottom of the map, of course, this one is also going to do some damage, but the keep shouldn't really be threatened here. All the way up at the top, we currently have the fort finally destroyed, so that means that at least periodically catapults are now going to spawn too for the red team. That's making the defense of the top lane a bit easier. Still not going to be an easy way to deal with it later on, but still. We have also potentially a living weapon on, yep, there it is, on level 20. And with that level 20, they're of course looking for fights. They're trying to invade the camp here, and Hogger needs to get the hell out of there, or he's going to be in a world of trouble. Yeah, and that's a kill. Horrify, no Horrify. Dodge the Horrify with this one too. Intentional, unintentional, doesn't really matter. At the end of the day, Genji gets the solo kill. So we're going to take another look at that. But yeah, dodging the Horrify, gets the X-Strike connected, moves in for Gul'dan. 14 kills to 6 right now. And at the bottom of the map, another opportunity to take one of the key structures of the map. They're looking for additional kills. They got the Siege Giants, they got the Catapults. Looks like Greymane might fall too. He's actually getting out. Genji is locked into a 1 versus 1 against Soaking at the top and gets the kill. But down here at the bottom of the map, they want Greymane, and this time they're going to get him. So Greymane goes down, and now they're moving in for the core. 16 kills to 6. Very convincing first map by Disgusting. So Haunted Mines played as the starting map in the first round of the tournament, and it seems that Disgusting has done some secret practice. They're doing well here. Got the objective several times. Now the core is about to fall. They're locking in a few additional kills, but of course the outcome of the game is already secured. A 1-0 lead in the best of 3 for Disgusting. GG.
Before we head into game number 2, make sure that you subscribe to the channel if you haven't done it yet, so you don't miss out on any future content here on Khaldor TV.
Blackheart's Bay, map number 2, everybody. So just to make this very, very clear, there's a couple of confused souls here because they're looking behind me and they're like, wait a second, this looks like Hanamura, so what's going on here? It's the wrong map. Guys, the background picture never had anything to do with which map is being played or picked, so you gotta read at the top if you're interested in which map is coming next. This is probably going to change a little bit throughout the tournament and we're rotating other ones in, but I'm not going to match them every single time to what's being picked here. We're on Blackheart's Bay. I'm actually very happy because I personally expected that the teams that would come in, that they would more go for Braxis or something else. Blackheart's was always a bit close to my heart, so we're heading into this as our second map. We currently have Disgusting in the lead with a 1-0. Again, this is a best of 3. We're in the winner bracket. Teams that lose here will drop down into the losers bracket. As the tournament continues, as usual, we're going to move into best of 5s. And then we'll just see what's happening towards especially the finals here. It's supposed to be a little bit of a lighthearted and fun tournament towards the end of the year. The goal just being to have like a nice one, you know, for Christmas and then next year we're going to start with some bigger tournaments again. So there's a lot that is being planned right now and talked about, and we'll see what eventually comes through or not. And as I said before, if you want to support efforts like this one, ! Patreon. If you're on Twitch right now, if you're on YouTube, you can check out the link in the description, and that will be used, so that helps them to set up tournaments like this. Like, this is fully community financed through that. Just to make that perfectly clear here. So we don't have a sponsor for this. These days it's super difficult to get sponsors for Heroes of the Storm. It's not really a game that a lot of companies are very interested in. So yeah, all community driven. We got Genji, we got a Nubarak, so they're already going for a bit of dive here. Blackheart's was always a bit wild because, Blackheart's favorite support, Regal. Yeah, so Blackheart's was always a bit wild because teams figured out that with certain heroes that you played, you didn't really have to fight a whole lot. Falstad was one of them. There are a couple of games in the past that Hazops, for example, excelled at, where he played Falstad and would always make sure with a good fly in a gust that his team never had to fight the opponent. Whenever the opponent tried to engage upon them, he would fly in back in the Team Liquid's day, push them back, and then they would just like rotate around all day, every day. So yeah, but again, with that being said and done, there are a lot of heroes that have been introduced ever since these maps disappeared from the competitive map pool. So there's of course some new strategies that can also be developed here, but it's definitely been a hot minute. We have a fairly aggressive targeting of supports in the ban pattern. Not only Lucio, the Crybaby, and Karazim have been banned out, but Brightwing has also been eliminated. Still leaves us with Stukov, so I'm honestly not too shocked to see Stukov here. I mean, Anduin makes sense because you're trying to prevent the Genji light bomb combo. Karazim, I suppose they were a little bit afraid of the mobility, but also of the 7-sided strike as a follow-up or a Nubarak charge. But do you really mind, if you're the Nubarak team, that you're having a Stukov here? I don't really think so. So yeah, lurking arm after stun, I mean, something that you're usually like going for. But okay, so it's Muradin, we got a Blaze as well, and here comes Sonya, the final pick, a triple frontline, everyone, as we are heading into Blackheart's Bay in the first best of 3 series of MAPness. Disgusting against the Cats. Lavakal on Rhaegar for the blue team. We got Blaze played by Alvaros, Arkunis on Dehaka, Itrax on Greymane, and Mimikyu is playing Muradin. Towards the right side of the map, the Cats, everybody, with Drak here on Genji. We got Captain Rex on Stukov. We got Hireth on Hogga, soaking on Sonya, and Nubarak gets played by the Fish. One of the cool things is actually, like, we have these two lanes. They are so super close. It was always one of the defining factors of Blackheart's Bay. So it's really once the fight over the watchtower that happens here, and then at the bottom of the map, you have the one lane that is a bit farther removed. Back in the day, you would put a Zagara usually onto the bot lane, for example. But this is also the map where, for the first time ever, Asmodan and Johanna was discovered as a composition. That later on, it was actually contributed to North America, but that was total crap because half a year before that happened, the Europeans already played that, and you would have Jojo plus Asmodan rotate between the mid and the top lane, and because the lanes are so close together, Asmodan could extremely well just farm both lanes once that he stacked his level 1 and the orb, and then later that strategy would get ported over into Tomb of the Spider Queen, where it was very, very popular for a long time. But this is actually a control theme that we've seen back then. Now these days it's obviously a lot harder to get away with such a composition because we had a lot of mobility creep coming in and other stuff. But yeah, it's going to be super interesting here. So we got all the way up at the top. Alvaros, he's gonna hold his own. It's all about the doubloons, obviously. So when you're starting to turn those in, we're gonna see the teams hopefully fight over that. There's not a lot of compositions or not a lot of moves here that the people can make to avoid battling. Yeah, the chests are already up on the map, and the one at the top goes fully to the blue team. Down here, Arcunis is trying to waddle his way out of that gank that hit him hard. But it seems like each team is going to pick up 5. Easy grab right here. Easy grab for them. Couple more doubloon camps obviously at the side. We now have 9 doubloons to 7. And already a turn in by Drak here. He has the mobility in the middle that he can easily jump in. So that's exactly what he's doing. And the shots will be fired eventually. Now obviously, as with any other map where the objective directly attacks structures on the opponent's side, if you can push these structures down without the objective, you find yourself in a very good spot. It's very similar in that sense to what happens on Sky Temple with the temple shots. Yep, already a bit of a trap here on Anubrak who's trying to prevent them from turning in. But this is definitely something to keep an eye on out, because you want to make sure that this is going to be something that the teams are really then fighting for. Structural damage in general to empower the objective even more. But here's already the big fight. And there's of course a couple of differences, and we're going to talk about them later. But look at Captain Rex with the 2 doubloons that he's holding, already in trouble. The big difference on Blackheart's Bay was always that once you kill somebody, they drop the doubloons. So they drop all of them and you can just collect them for yourselves. That's also what sets this apart from Tomb of the Spider Queen, and it was always a lot of fun. There's tons and tons of clips out there where you have massive battles and everybody dies, and then there's 20 doubloons or more on the ground and somebody has to respawn and get them. Down here it seems that Stukov might fall after all. Initially it looked like he might survive through all of this, so he's down and they're catching the doubloons as well. Yeah, next hit is coming. But we have 9 doubloons delivered by the red team, so they're very, very close to the first barrage. Whereas Disgusting, they are holding 13, but they still have to turn them in, and the stuns are coming. So at least 2 of them are getting a bit closer to delivering them. And Blackheart is gonna be appeased. Level 7 kicks in for the cats, but they can't do anything about it. So shots will be fired, literally. So yep, here we are. Blackheart is going to do his thing. Shot's going to be fired. And of course, those also always follow a pattern. I believe it was mid, top, bottom. And then it goes to the next range. But with that, you can now easily take this down. And since there was some damage at the wall, it eliminates the fort entirely. The battle at the bottom of the map is still continuing, but now the shots will target the top lane. Sonya is already pushing there, but of course, they're going to take structural damage. And if now at the bottom of the map, Disgusting can push this out with another camp, that would be great for a potential next wave that they can set up here. But as it stands, level 7, we get the purification now also for Rhaegar, so he's trying to help the team against the CC here. We have with level 7, as mentioned previously, also the subterranean shield for whenever fish dives in with the Nubarak. But yep, here we go. They get the camp, and it's a double camp now. So they have 2 camps, and they got Greymane. So this is a really nice move to do structural damage. And as I said before, the more damage you do, the more effective those cannon shots are going to be later on. So this is very, very good for Disgusting. And the cats, they need to find an angle against this. Killing Greymane is a good first step. The doubloons get collected by Rhaegar, and they're turning it. They're trying to go for Drak here. Can't quite get the kill, but still working on that. Camp, by the way, at the top left at least, is diligently taken by Arcunis so far. Nobody on the red team side has really focused heavily on these little pirate camps. I guess Genji could move around and now try and take a few of those. but they're still battling over the chests now that have reappeared on the map too, trying to force Sonya back first, down at the bottom of the map. The entire chest was super quickly collected by the red team, who now also have level 10, so that should guarantee the turn-in. Hogger is sitting at 9 doubloons. He really wants to get rid of those. And, ooh, hello, Budget Gimli has a bit of a problem there, but Muradin is able to jump out. But here comes the turn-in. So now in the middle, as you can see, there's a bit of damage done, but honestly, not a whole lot. So now that we also have... It's a little bit different now than it was back in the day, because normally the fountain would also soak up one of the shots. That's not really the case any longer. Therefore, the fort will take the brunt of that charge. And in this case, it might just be enough to take the entire thing down. It actually looks like it will. So those changes that came in after the fact have definitely switched the meta, if you want, on the map quite a bit. Because now if you're getting the barrage, it's pretty much guaranteed to take the fort down, which you're seeing right now as well. The mid lane has been destroyed, so both teams are now lacking their mid lane fort. And all the way up at the top, we got Sonya pretty much alone. They definitely need to deal with her, and she's already moving back here. And guess what? We're gonna see her go for the boss, Miliki, because everybody else is currently busy trying to prevent an additional turn-in. There's a lot of doubloons in play. 28 doubloons in total. There's a lot up for grabs. And let's go. Yeah, Blackheart, he wants his booty. Drakia is low. Every single kill is so impactful here because he can collect those doubloons, and that's exactly what they're trying to do. 13 to 14 right now. I'm just waiting for someone to pick Illidan here. Nobody spotted Sonya. If the Haka would have moved in, and yeah, that could have been a dead Sonya. There could have been doubloons lost. Could have been a disaster. Now another 2 are needed for another barrage, but blue team at least. They got some trouble to secure their doubloons here, so they haven't really turned in a whole lot. With Sonya going for the boss top side, they're also stealing a few more doubloons, so they take the small pirate camp. And this is starting to become a bit of a problem, because now the top fort has been destroyed. The red team has a huge surplus in doubloons, considering that they're getting so close to a turn-in. Double checking both bushes, creating some space here for Sonya in particular, who is holding 6, and since they have a level 13 talent, they're also a bit farther ahead on that account. So right now we got the attack on the gate, and even that matters. A few more are being taken, and there it is. The attack down to the bottom of the map, and obviously this fort is gonna get destroyed now. So another fort is gonna fall. And this is starting to become problematic, because that means that the entire outer ring of defense is now gone. Oh, beautiful! Nice CC chain on Muradin, including the shockwave of Hogger. That really helps them now. They can easily take the camp at the bottom of the map. They can push this out. Sonya, on the other hand, she is going to fall. She doesn't have a leap that she can use to escape here, so she's down. That's 4 doubloons that they just lost. And at the top, that fort is going to get destroyed as a result of it. But the red team is also pushing this, and the good thing for them is that they are already pushing for keep. So somebody has to stop them, and Muradin just respawned, and he's going to try and do his best here. But he will only be able to hold them at bay for that long. So now everybody else is moving in. Akunis, yeah, Cocoon right away. Cocoon is hitting hard. And now that we have them again going for Hogger here, another attack is already incoming. Another jump as well. Mimikyu is moving out, and it's the end of Hogger. That's 2 doubloons that they also just got. A bit of a slappy slap by our boy Stukov as he's trying to cover the retreat, but he himself falls as a result. So now he's down. And, well, the final fort is going to be taken. I gotta say, it's a nice back and forth. The objective so far was pretty much dominated by the cats, but it also means that their turn-ins now are getting more expensive. So this is getting interesting, since Disgusting has been able to accomplish the same amount of structural damage that the cats pulled off with 1 turn-in less. And now that they got their chests, they can turn in again, and they definitely should. They got 24 doubloons here. These guys are insane. I mean, that's a shit ton of doubloons that they're holding, and they're going for the turn-in, and they definitely should. and they still hold a lot even after it's completed. So they got to be super careful because the red team, they're hitting 16. And that is going to make this very dangerous. If they engage upon you with a talent advantage, you're going to be in trouble. But for now, at least, the defense happening. They're taking all of the camps. They're going to get a bit further here. As you can tell, now it's a little bit harder to really take all of these structures down. Talents have been taken. This gives us the epicenter. The shots are being fired. But it's not guaranteed anymore that you're taking the entire structure down, as you can tell. So those keeps are a little bit more resilient. The turn-in doesn't really allow them to do anything, but it's definitely very low. And now it's Drake and his boys that want to go for another turn-in. And the blue team should be aware of that, because there's 15 gems in their hands, and they're delivering a lot of them. They're not going to get the entire turn-in, but 5 gems have been delivered. 5 doubloons have been delivered. Back onto the Spider Queen here. Blaze goes down, and, well, he didn't even have a chance to go for the bunker, so that's a 5 versus 4. Nice Ancestral to keep Murden alive, but he's still getting body blocked. Is finally able to jump out. The Haka on the way out. They're trying to escape. Greymane, that's 7 doubloons. They lose Murden, but at least Greymane is still alive, and here comes the attack in the middle. But the Haka is also trying to take down that keep, and honestly, he should probably just make sure that they're going to get this. I guess the catapult will eventually take it down, but the red team, they are busying themselves in the mid lane, trying to crush as much as they can. The keep is already gone. Keep on the right side. It's gonna be close. It has one more shot. One more. It's not enough. The keep still stands. Oh boy. The keep still stands. And yep, there we are. Bottom of the map, Rega, he's defending. He has the wave clear. 5 kills to 4. And, well, with the damage outputs, we got 34,000 for Hogger, 23,000 for Greymane. And another turn-in the making. Blackheart is a greedy boy. He wants them all, and he gets them. Coin after coin into the chest. And that is another set of shots fired. Top lane, as explained previously, so this keep is going to drop low, but it's not going to get destroyed. I like that the red team is figuring out quickly what's going on here. The blue team is eager to go for the boss, but they can't really force this. Maybe they should. Maybe they should force a fight, because they need a battle before 20 hits. Isolation, they were trying to go for it, but it wasn't successful. Now Alvarez is getting attacked again. The Ancestral comes out early. The shots are being fired by Blackhearts. There's a camp at the bot lane that is still causing some trouble for Disgusting. They got the 1-0 lead, but as you can tell, the Cats are very eager to get that tie in the first series of the day and force the third map. And now the bottom... guys, this is a problem. This bottom keep, if those catapults would just completely fuck this up, that keep would already be gone. Muradin is dead. Bottom keep about to be destroyed. Top keep, by the way, has indeed fallen. Tons and tons of balloons on the ground again. But now we got 7 kills to 4, and this is, at this point, looking more or less like a foregone conclusion. This is not looking pretty. The only survivor for another second was Blaze, and he dies too, resulting in a 5-man team wipe. And this is a tie in the series. Blackheart doing his thing. And that is it. Level 20 is there. We got 10 kills to 4. 1-1 as the Cats lock in the victory on Blackheart's Bay. And we're going to the third map of this best of 3 series. In the first round of the winner bracket of MAPness. Braxis Holdout, the third map in the series. They went for the most normal map last. I very much so enjoy Blackhearts though. It's a little bit weird. Again, it's not really the most... It's always a bit strange, because I think on the competitive level, what really sets it back a bit too is not only the fact that with the right heroes, you can completely avoid fighting throughout the entire game, but it's also that there is a certain amount of snowball potential that is a bit nuts when you think about it. If a team holds 30 doubloons and you just kill them, you can force that team fight and then take them over, then that can really just like flip-flop the game so hard, it's kind of nuts. But it's quite enjoyable for a small tournament like this one here. And yeah, very, very nice. So we'll see what they can do now on Braxis. Again, we're obviously moving through a winner and a loser's bracket, so there is plenty that still can be done here by both teams, no matter the result of the third map. And we're gonna have a few more of those today. But yeah, it's it's kind of wild to see these maps being played. And Blackhearts was always kind of cool. I was for a long time, I mean, I was pretty much like playing Vala for most of my Heroes of the Storm career, at least in the first few years. And one of the heroes that I would have to consistently play on Blackheart's Bay was just Zagara, as I said earlier. Back in those days, one of your best options for push power was the Gara on the bot lane. And you would just like try to poke from a distance, you get the creep spread going so that you know when somebody was moving in. Obviously back then she was a lot more viable simply because you didn't have Tracer and Genji around, all these Overwatch heroes were missing. So it's a bit of a throwback to now see that map again and like think about it. A lot of Stitches was played back then as well, and there's all these clips from that exist from back then. Tyrande was a thing, a lot of Murden and Tyrande roaming the map looking for kills and trying to set all of that up, so it's kind of fun to see that now in a bit of a different context with the meta that has been adjusted for just different maps in general. I mean, Braxis obviously is a map that we see in tournaments too, depending on who organizes it, but right now it's all about mobility as usual. You want to traverse between the lanes as quickly as possible, and you need a strong solo laner at the top to really deal with this. But heroes like Genji, Muradin, Brightwing, Junkrat, who got banned, Lucio are very strong here. Nuburak can dive easily over. Karazim as a support plays a bit of a bigger role because of that too. So they have Urel now as well, and yeah, it's kind of fun. Now with Anduin being taken, this also means that again the cats cannot go for Anduin and Genji, so they can't go for that. Yeah. So we'll see what they can actually do here. Anduin, the Pinaldo of the Nexus. The crybaby cried again. I'm not quite sure if you saw, but when Portugal got eliminated, he was crying again. I hate that guy with a passion. It just gets me tilted, like honestly it does. That guy is one of the most talented players that football has ever seen. And the amount of diving and unfair play that he shows on the pitch is driving me nuts. I don't give a shit what he does outside of the football pitch, but every single time when he dives and demands another penalty, another free kick or whatever, it's just like, dude, do you realize how many young kids look up to you, and that's what you teach them, that this is okay behavior? I hate that guy so much. I'm so happy that he's not going to play for Portugal anymore. I can finally cheer for Portugal, but yeah, I hate this guy with a passion. What I hate more than anything else in football is people that dive. I know he's not the only one, by the way, don't get me wrong. I know that there's other candidates for this one too. People that display unfair behavior during their play. This is why I hate Italy as a team. That's why I don't like Argentina, because those are two of the main culprits to pull that off time and time again. So yeah, triggered by yours truly, Anduin. So yeah, another crybaby. One in the Nexus, one in football. We got it all. But yeah, either way, we got Garrosh, we got Cassia. So I mean, I have to admit that they're going a little bit away from what I thought they would try and do with their draft on the blue team side. I'm a lot more... Like, what we're seeing for the red team is a lot more in line with what you normally would see there. But with the final two picks, they also don't have that added mobility. They got Jaina and they got Malfurion. That gives them a nice follow-up on a Nubarak stun with a root, and then Jaina can come in either with a ring or with other burst damage. So, yeah. As a killer comp, as far as that goes, definitely not bad, especially since, of course, Stukov got already banned, so you couldn't go for the Lurking Arm. The final pick now for our map on Braxis, it is Kel'Thas! Look at that! We get the Fire Mage into the house, a little Song of Ice and Fire between the two teams. Jaina on the one side, Kel'Thas on the other. Boys, girls, let's go! Third map in the series. Disgusting against the cats. We are on Braxis, the third map in the series. We got Lavakal playing Anduin, Itrax on Cassia, Akunis on Urel, Alvaros playing Kel'Thas, and Mimikyu on Garrosh. Mana Addict, he's playing it safe. Obviously, you don't really want to go for convection. But hey, a man can dream, right? It's a bit of a meme at this point, obviously. But yeah, any serious player needs to go for Mana Addict. Everything else is just memeing. And Nubarak on level 1 also with the Globe Quest. He goes for the Regeneration Master, played by Fish. We got Heroes on Jaina, Captain Rex on Malfurion. Soaking is playing Hogga again. And Drak here on Genji. And ooh, we got some stacking for Cassia. Yeah, Cassia's gonna stack it up as well. Our 1v1 at the top lane has been established. Goes for the Thunderstroke here. And yeah, we're off to the races. So whoever wins this one is going to advance to the next round of the winner bracket, which is the winner bracket semi-final. And it should be good. I mean, obviously, when you're talking about this map in particular, one of the things that's super important here is to just try and take the opponent's fort down. Anything that eliminates these fountains is going to give you an easier time on the beacon once that the objective has actually been spawned. Late game will be really interesting, though, if Cassia can keep up stacking. That's something where you can definitely chunk somebody down later on in the game. That's a hero that was played a lot on Volskaya Foundry when we had more tournaments that would feature the map. And Dino is one of the players that had just an insane amount of stacks in some of the games that he played. I believe that 160 roughly was his record in one of the games that went for nearly half an hour. So it was pretty impressive, and he was just chunking them down and really getting the damage together here. You can already see on the minimap that Genji is now starting. Ooh, goodbye. Nubarak is gone. But yeah, I can already see that Genji is rotating more to the top lane. And this is the beauty of you running a composition that has a lot of mobility. You can just sneak one of your heroes away and attack the solo laner. But if your opponent figures that out quickly, they're going to do exactly what the blue team does here, and they're going to punish you for it. Because while you create a numbers advantage at the top lane, you're also at a disadvantage at the bottom of the map, where you all of a sudden only have 3 heroes defending, and that's something that Disgusting took advantage of in this situation. Opened the wall up, and back in the old days, that would now immediately result in your fountain being eliminated, but Blizzard made them invulnerable. This is a change I, by the way, really like. I mean, Blizzard absolutely shit the bed, first of all, with them cancelling HGC, but also with pretty much all decisions that they made after this were just disastrous. And horrifying. The improvements on speed and rotations, the stupid experience globes that just reward bad play, then when they introduced weather, medallion and other crap. But the one change that they made that is actually pretty decent is the one with the fountains. Because it takes the focus a little bit away from the fountain, it puts it onto the fort itself, and it makes sure that you can't just simply cheese fountains the entire time. So that is something that I feel helped the game, but right now it also means that with you opening up the wall, you can't just simply snipe it, you have to go for the fort, as you should, and we'll see what they can pull off with this one. 14 stacks so far for Cassia. We have her at the top side now, assisting Urel a little bit. Down here, 3 versus 3 battle, and Genji is the first one to fall all the way up at the top. They're trying for a second kill against Hogga, and they might even get that one. Hogga is just ping-ponging around all of these little nooks and crannies here, but he is able to move out of the fight. We got 20 points against 8 towards the objective. Now this is of course not a winner takes all, so every single percentage point that you can get matters. And that was a nice flip. Job well done by Garrosh, presenting a kill to Cassia, and she is not one to frown upon that. Nope, she takes that. It's Christmas come early. Comes in with a little Christmas present and takes that one right away. Now up at the top, it's again this 1 versus 2 that Akunis has to play. And I would imagine that he's a little bit annoyed by this by now. And even with a kill, blue team hasn't gotten anything out of that. So right now it's 3 kills to 0. They have half a level lead. Maybe an early level 7 can help them to push this further. But I really like the way that they're trying to get these kills. Now Nubarak with a good escape Gotta give him that. But also the follow-up that we have from Kel'Thas is super nice. This was one of the cool things back in the days when you would see Kel'Thas a bit more frequently, that you had always the stun heroes leading into a Kel'Thas lock when he moved in with his gravity lapse here. ETC, prime candidate for exactly that type of play. There was a long time, even in the days of HTC, where an absolute priority composition would be ETC plus Kel'Thas, when you would go for a power slide, the gravity lapse behind it, and then try to take the target down. But then, again, one of the reasons that Kel'Thas fell off was the mobility creep that slowly ended the game with Tracer, with Genji, with other heroes that could just jump into the backline and punish him. He's lacking the mobility to get out of these situations since he doesn't have any escape tool available outside of him actually connecting with the gravity lapse. Top side still, the race is on, and they're, as usual, trying to go for the space goat here. But Yrel is able to make it out, so Akunis is still alive, but he will need some assistance, unless they're just trading a bit. Also important to note, Kel'Thas on 15 stacks now. So you really want to have that survivability and get that shield out. Cassia is continuing to stack too, with the 27 that she brings to the table. We still have that half-level advantage for the blue team. It's nothing too crazy, but it's obviously a nice window to have over your opponent. And these gravity lapses, they connect. Yeah, but so does the damage against Jaina. So yeah, she's down. And that could just be a bit more work done towards the objective if somebody else helps out Yrel at the top against, in this case, Hoggar. But yeah. Also, with 8,000 damage only done by Jaina, that also means that's going to take her quite some time until she's finally able to rely on her ice block. A little bit more damage by Cassia now too, and well, there goes the bottom fort. Bottom fort is down, goodbye fountain, and that is now going to make the life of the cats a lot more difficult. Especially with Yrel just not dying. Akunis is just refusing to die. He's just like sitting there and he's like, yeah, I'm sorry, but you're not going to get me that easily. I know that you're going to try and gank up on me. Not happening. So with that, we now have, once again, the fight here at the bottom. Top side, numbers advantage for the blue team now, so they're trying to take this one back. We're already 7 minutes into the game and we haven't seen a single objective yet. Both of the teams are desperately fighting for it. But here comes the level 10. That gives us Phoenix, that gives us a light bomb. And they could try and make an engage here. Up at the top, they're threatening Genji. But down here at the bottom of the map, it's still control for the red team. So they are the ones that have taken the lead now all of a sudden. You gotta give it to the cats. With the mobility that they have on a few of their heroes, they're doing a great job. But now that they lost Genji, that might just be where the tides turn. Because we have Disgusting, not only with level 10, but also now with a big opportunity to go for bot lane beacon control. And that might not get them quite to the objective and to the first Zerg wave, but it should get them a lot closer. They're definitely controlling both now. And there's more damage done here at the top. Ooh, but Fish is sneaking this one. That's not a whole lot that they got. 38 to 26. They want a bit more. Yrel now moves in, as does Genji, who came back. Not a single kill for the red team. And as I say, Malfurion moonfires Anduin's ass. And they take Kel'Thas down too, so there's a double kill. Yeah, finally ending that dry spell here. Cassia with 45 stacks, so she was stacking a little bit more in that battle, but she still died. That's the first 3 kills for the cats in this game, and all of a sudden momentum is on their side. And with the Nuburak claiming the bottom beacon, they are the ones who get massively ahead. So despite all of the kills that Disgusting got early on in the game, they are now in a bit of a tough spot. Because that's 70%, and it seems like we're going to get a big Zerg wave for the cats here. I mean, we're going to get there one way or another, but it's going to be a huge gap between the two teams. 100% to roughly 40, so you can kiss that top fort already goodbye. That's not going to happen. And that will equalize the situation in regards to control, at least. So they should be fairly happy about that. But yeah, once again, here come the hits. They go for the top, and they're going to try and take this one down. So, fort is going to fall. Question is, can they do a bit more? Jaina is still at the bottom of the map. She has the wave clear, of course, to stop the wave on the other side. Nobody's even pressuring her, so that's a freebie. 12 versus 12. And, well, what else? Boss has so far not been touched. It's of course something that's going to play a role later too. Jaina's getting a little bit closer to completing her level 1 and also her baseline, so that will give her a lot of safety. And she should be able to help out with that. But as it stands, we now have all the way up at the top Mimikyu and his boys starting to go for another fort and try to take this one down. The damage is slowly coming, but with the cocoon the fight has now been forced. The problem is that Hogger isn't here yet. Hogger is still pogging out a camp at the bottom. So they're just trying to force them away from the fort to save the structures. And that sets another camp onto the lane. It's a very, very close game for the third one. This is still the first round in the tournament. I think we chose pretty well here to cover this one. It's looking pretty interesting. But yeah, the stun is there. Oh, Cassia. Yeah, Cassia knew that she was in a bit of trouble. Anduin was too far away to go for the pull. And now that they have a 5 versus 4 situation, they immediately go for the boss. Genji helping with that a lot too. And that is potentially taking another structure down here. They're going to open the map up quite a bit, and it's 10 more seconds until Cassia is back to business. So with the camp that we already have at the bottom of the map, this could definitely become a problem very, very quickly. So everybody is already jumping in except for Hogger, who has taken to the side lane. Yrel is going to attempt and stop him. But with the boss now at the bottom of the map, the minimum that they have to do is open that wall up. Open that wall and see if you can do a bit more damage. Threaten that fort, take the sustain away from your opponent. So they are going to maybe even try and get a kill here. If anybody steps out a little bit too far, they gotta be careful with Garrosh, obviously. But depending on who he flips, Anubra can dive away, so can Genji. Ooh, and that's... yeah, try to go in with the Indomitable here. That just burned the cooldown. So they open the wall. Still an early boss. 10 minutes in, 11 minutes in. Not a lot that they got for it. They opened the wall, but that's it. Malfurion for just a moment was in the scope of Garrosh. That could have been a problem. Malfurion was just like, boys, I need some help here. This is not looking good. I don't feel comfortable. 5 kills to 4, level 14 for both, but it's time for the beacons again. And the red team is gonna take a... ooh, no, they're not gonna take a lead. The blue team is on 20 and they interrupted this. Fight at the bottom of the map, and he just dropped the cocoon. Nice. Cocoon got dropped by Nubarak and he just simply blocked it out. We're gonna take another look at that in a second, but Jaina, she fell as a result. The problem is the turnaround here. Oh, they dropped everything on them, but they just can't get that kill, and now it's a 5 versus 4 and Genji is down. And all of this pretty much started with this little play. Look at Garrosh. Look at Garrosh when Nubarak turns around for the cocoon. So yeah, comes in, drops the cocoon, and bam! He was waiting for that one. Drops it right away, and that's allowing them to go for Jaina and take her down. So very, very well done by the frontliner. Mimikyu with a great play here that allowed them to get a kill. By the way, Cassia is currently on 60 stacks, just to give you a bit of an idea of the damage output that we're currently seeing. She's top damage in the game with 35,000. We have everyone playing a bit of a ring around the rosy play as they're moving top and bottom. Trying... oh, yeah, another stun. Oh, and this time, Yrel, she might be in trouble. Pops the ult, gets also saved by Garrosh, but he got cocooned, and this time he was not able to dodge it. But they're turning it again. Hogger down. Hogger down, 8 kills to 4. They're looking for more. Genji in trouble. He also drops. And I guess they are going to get Malfurion. Maybe not quite. They're looking for Jaina here. But Yrel has to be careful with that, or she's going to be the one to die. They have full control. They're going to get a Zerg wave with 100% against the 56 for the opponent. Level 16, also little advantage for them here. And with all of that, we're now having another camp time perfectly around the objective to boot. So, very powerful push at the top. 100% Zerg wave plus a camp with a level 16 advantage for a few more seconds. That means that the red team can't even try and defend the fort. They have to fall back. They need to wait for Genji too. He's now back on the map. But it gave Yrel at the bottom of the map already a bit of a head start dealing with this wave. And now the top lane pressure play that we're seeing from Disgusting could very well result in one of the keeps being taken down. So the wall gets broken to pieces within seconds. But yeah, huge problem for them now. So this is very likely going to be keep. That's of course an issue. You're losing control of the map very quickly here. And with the keep gone, you're relying on a single structure at the bot lane, and that's all that you have. But yes, as it is, they're starting to come in again, trying to go for the fish, who's dropping low. Mimikyu also able to make his way back out after initially taking damage. They're still poking and prodding, hoping for a kill, but they can't really get it. So the red team, they weren't able to get their keep saved, but at least they were able to save the core. No damage done here. They still have a chance to come back into this. 17 to 16. It's a 1-level lead by now. 4 disgusting. And yeah, at the end of the day, the red team now has to decide how they want to play this. Wait for the next objective. Try and force a battle around the boss. Do they even want to force a fight? Problem is, if they keep it like this, then level 20 will be in the hands of Disgusting much sooner than it will be for the cats. So they have to be careful with that. Now, camps, of course, still playing a big role here too. And Nubarak at least, he has a 60 now as well. That means that they can, with dives, maybe lock a few more targets in. And as long as Malfurion and Jaina follow up on it, they can do a whole lot of work. Jaina deciding also to not go ring, by the way. If they were just looking for a bit more burst, that might have helped too. But of course, the water elemental gives her a lot of control in these fights. 36,000 damage by her. But Cassia is still stacking. And late game is, of course, her friend. The more she stacks, the better. And we'll see how much they can do with that. But yeah, let's have a bit of a look at that. For now, we currently have a much better position for the blue team. They are the ones that can take this a bit easier. They just have to keep an eye on the boss. And that's exactly what Mimikyu has been doing the entire time. So he's currently sitting right there, taking a close look at this and saying, guys, if you want to fight for it, it's fine. But we are going to contest it eventually. The cats were trying to sneak it. They weren't trying to force a fight, they were just trying to be a little bit sneaky about it. And to be fair, if they're left to their own devices for a couple of seconds there, they can make that work. But in this case, it didn't really pan out that way. So the objective is up again. It's only 1.5 levels until Disgusting will reach Storm Talons and level 20. Still a bit of a trump card with Genji, who can jump around here and try and make a bit of a move. Yeah. Water elemental. Not really that successful right now. Still decent duration, but I don't think they can force anything here. Genji is taking down the catapults at the top lane, and that is going to save their core. That is allowing them to buy more time for a fight at the bottom of the map. So, kind of what he's trying to do here. Should probably take the other catapult out too, but they already have control, so this is actually working in their favor here. Take a bit of a lead, and they're forcing Disgusting to react. And the blue team, you don't have to ask them twice, they are invading, they are retaking this. Genji is still waiting up at the top to engage. Cassia, of course, with the blind can also help out a bit later. Double catapult at the top now in just a second, so it's going to push the lane back one way or another, and time is working in Disgusting's favor. As I said before, they will be the first one to hit level 20. And that's a huge advantage to have. Bit of a flip, there's the old light bomb, and goodbye! And Nubarak is dead, he's eliminated. They're trying for Urel, but she is not completely stun locked and is able to get her ult out. And that allows Akunis to move back. Genji was still hoping for a kill, but couldn't get it. Oh, or so I thought. And then he X-striked his way to victory. With Keltas missing in the fight, that worked out for them. Double control now on the beacon for the blue team. Boss gets triggered! And the kill on both sides. Anduin and Jaina are both dead. Both blondies are eliminated. They got 46% by now, but the red team is doing their best to take over. Yeah, that's the moment where... Oh, yeah, he has his 20 now. A little bit too late to have an impact in that fight. So nicely done by the cats, forcing this before anything else. But yeah, bit of a battle for the camps. 78 stacks now for Cassia. Nothing too insane, but of course it starts to add up significantly. And with Keltas now also running Flamethrower, he can stay way farther out and still do significant amounts of damage. Yep, 50 to 20 points on the beacon. And, well, let's see. Okay, so down to the bottom of the map. It's a ring around the rosy play. They are just trying to, yeah, rotate around. Since both teams are closing on 20, the red team doesn't have to be too afraid here anymore. They're sitting a little bit farther back trying to get the experience, but it's not like the blue team can force this. So it will still be a significant battle between the two of them for the objective. The wave would spawn at the bot lane for the blue team this time. We got the Trader King on 20. Winter Mute is also in. And that means that the Cats can still win this. I mean, both teams want to stay in the winner bracket, right? Nobody wants to drop down into the losers bracket here. So we'll see how far they can go with this. But right now, top side is pushing. That's a problem. Time working still for Disgusting. If that wave makes it towards the core, they will lose a couple of points there at least. But the fight at the bottom of the map, Cocoon being used, kind of saving Garrosh, honestly. Atrax still fighting in the back, but it's still a 5 versus 4. And Mimikyu has to walk all the way around. So boss is still up. This has to be dealt with, though. That's 2 catapults here. And Jaina is the one that takes charge, so she moves in to drop him. Whereas the blue team is just regrouping. Disgusting is trying to bring this slowly back. They're also forcing Soaking back right now, and he has to be very, very careful. If he gets caught at the wrong moment here and falls, that would be a nightmare for the Cats. But as is, we now have still one under the control of Disgusting. And it's just continuous back and forth here. So they go again for the big boy. Garrosh gets attacked. Still able to survive through this for another moment. Genji X striking in and then zipping out with a swift strike. Doing tons of damage here, but not enough to yield them a kill. 57,000 damage by Jaina, but Cassia, she's still top dog in the game. But there's the kill against Garrosh. The ice block saving Jaina. Nicely done. And the double control also on the objective, and it seems like they're going to just accept it. 50% for them, 100% for the opponent. The boss is now being taken to. After Disgusting looked really, really strong for the entirety of the game, it's now all of a sudden the Cats that have a huge opportunity here to, well, maybe even win the game. They're going to have a boss and they're going to have a big wave at the top. So both of them topside, the keep will fall. There's no way you're going to save that keep, especially with Garrosh still being out for another 20 seconds. The question is simply, can you go for game? Now Jaina had to fall back to take those catapults down. You can't risk at the 22-minute mark those to do anything about it, but now that she's defending at the bottom of the map, it means that at the top you only have 4 heroes for the Cats. So they want that keep, and they're gonna get that keep. The question is, can they get more? 100 stacks for Cassia, 103 to be precise, and the keep is gone, just melting away. They went through that keep like hot butter through cheese. But here comes the taunt! No! Garrosh is back, he's making them pay. Not only Genji, but also Hogger is eliminated. The boss is already on the core, but with 2 heroes dying this quickly, it seems like they're going to be able to defend the core, and then they might just be able to walk across the map and turn on them. Jaina barely defended the bottom keep, but just look at this. Jaina defending, was that needed? 77% even with the 2 kills that were locked in by Disgusting. I think if Jaina joined them for the real fight, they might have been able to win this one. But they made a choice. They weren't sure if they could finish it or not. Now they have 2 heroes missing. And it's very clear that Disgusting is hoping to, take that one down, duh. But obviously they want to have a little bit more here. It's another 10 seconds. They're not playing for it. Damn. I really thought they would at least try to posture a bit, bait somebody out, and hope for a kill. Nah, but they didn't. So they move back right away and instead go for camps. Alright, fair enough, fair enough. They get the camps here. 13-7. So the situation as is that we have no keep left for the Cats, which means that all of the lanes are pushing straight for the core. Disgusting has lost 1 keep as well, so top lane is pretty much balanced out. The bottom of the map, that's where the Cats have their biggest problem. And everybody is just going for camps, trying to create some map control. Obviously, with the blue team getting those kills and being able to roam the map freely, they are now in position of like 3 camps at the same time. Boss is back up in 1:40. And down to the bot lane. Yeah, they're taking this one down pretty quickly. 111 stacks for Cassia. That means she's currently sitting at 72,000 damage. Can really tell that in the last few fights she's made a lot of headway with her damage output. The ult obviously comes into play here too. We see a lot more 5 versus 5 battles here right now, or at least 5 versus 4s, and that is working in Cassia's favor. Especially when you're now also looking at the rock stopper that she has over here. Bit more survivability that she brings with this, can stay a bit closer to the action and longer. 6 kill gap between the two teams. And with every single camp that gets sent towards the core of the red team, they gotta react and sit farther out a bit longer. And that makes it very tricky to access the beacon. So this is really where it starts to become difficult for them. Currently they were just moving from lane to lane defending against catapult and minion waves, but now they can't afford to do that anymore. Because, as you can tell, it's an immediate double objective, or double beacon control for Disgusting. So, yeah, now you're in trouble. I mean, this is 3 catapults with the 4th one coming in. The minion wave is at least going to eliminate a few of them, but they have to do exactly that. Send Genji over and claim the beacons again, but that also means that the blue team can try and move in against the rest of them and maybe get a kill. That's what they're looking for here. They couldn't get it in this case, but they can rotate back in and attack the objective with 48%. They're trying to drive a wedge between them, so they attempt to capitalize on this, and they get the kill. Anduin is down, the Crybaby is gone, but Malfurion is also dead, which means that both of the teams are operating without a support. Another quick hit is coming, and Garo, she's alive, and he's dead. Finally deaded, but so is Jaina. Jesus, what a slaughter. Cassia has also fallen. They're still fighting. The bot lane is a bit of a concern with the catapults that are still moving in here. But up at the top, look at Kelthas and the damage. Damn. Those bombs are doing work. He's finally dead, but soaking. He's so low and has to move away. Yeah, Urella's gonna get the kill here. Flattens him like a pancake. That dude had no chance. It's a 2 versus 1 on the map now. What a ridiculous outcome of that team fight. 16 kills to 11. And the catapults are entering the core range. Somebody has to deal with them. So catapults are there. Akunis is preventing Drak here from taking control of the top. And Nubarak had to move back. And he needs to take the catapults out quickly. Look how much damage they do. Every single hit that's coming is just dropping that core and murdering it. Thankfully for him, he arrived in time. But even that cost them 20% on the core. And Urel has been holding on to this for a long time. Anduin is back, so she can again push Dracula away from it. But yeah, this is a bit crazy. 83,000 damage now from Cassia. 69,000. Ah, nice. I like it. 69k from Kelthas. You naughty dog, you. So, the catapults are insane at this point. 28 minutes into the game. It's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. If you get catapults on the core, they're going to chunk it down quickly. But it's not only the blue team that has lost points on the core. Keep that in mind. Oh, Nubarak, no. The boss earlier did a fair amount of damage on the blue team side too. 77% against 81. Red team losing a Nubarak, definitely a problem. Now you're running again from lane to lane, trying to get beacon control. Your opponent is already at 67, so it doesn't matter who takes the objective anymore. That is a significant progress for Disgusting and will result in a huge wave. If they can get it... Oh, Jaina. Jaina, where are you going? Not like this girl. Hira trying to get the kill. Ooh, maybe Genji. Baited. That's a kill right there. Jaina's still in the wrong base. I mean, she's still in the wrong base. Trying to go for the core here. The bot lane is a big problem on the other hand. Irith is eventually going to fall, but now we have the Zerg waves doing their thing. Jaina just explodes, catapults on the core, Genji is dead, and this is going to end the game. One catapult and also the camp. At the top we have the entire Zerg wave doing their thing. This is just not something that they can deal with anymore, especially with the blue team finally making a move for the core. The shield is already gone, as you can see. The core is down to 71%. Every catapult hit is a disaster at this point, and that Zerg wave just can't be stopped. Seems like Disgusting is going to move on to the winner bracket semi-final. There's just no way for the cats to stop this anymore. They are missing 2 of their heroes, and this is ridiculous how much damage this is doing. Disgusting with the 2-1 victory in the best of 3 as they move on to the second round of the winner bracket.